Well, hello everybody, and welcome to today's special free workshop from Evolve EdTech. It is so lovely to have you with us today. I am just going to check. Yep, no, that's all good. I was just checking my sound and microphone to make sure that it was all hunky-dory, and it is. Anyway, welcome to Smart Classrooms, navigating the digital education landscape. We have a great presentation for you today, a very special free school holiday workshop. If you're somewhere in Australia at the moment that might be on school holidays, welcome. If you are going to be joining us after this presentation today, watching it after school because you're in one of those jurisdictions that currently is back at school, that's okay. It's lovely to have you with us as well. We've got a bumper edition for you today, so we may as well dive right in and get started with today's presentation. All right, let's go and have a quick look at today's agenda. I'm just going to move my mouse to the right screen and hopefully I can change my slides here. There we go. All right, today in Smart Classrooms, we've got a jam-packed presentation for you today. So I'm going to start off by just introducing you and welcoming you to today's presentation, giving you a little bit of context about what this presentation will be exploring today. We're then going to dive in and I'm going to show you where you can access this workshop recording, okay? Ironically, if you're watching it, you already know that, but I just want to show you where to access this because this is the first time that I have actually live streamed into our special Evolve EdTech portal. So I'm going to show you where to access that and how to access the slides from today if you'd like to go and look at those in your own time as well. Then I'm going to introduce myself to you if we have not met before. My name is Tristan, and I am going to just tell you a little bit about my journey as a teacher and my journey here at Evolve EdTech. So we're going to move on to that in a moment as well. Then we are going to dive into what this episode is about. We're going to go and start looking at smart classrooms, navigating the digital education landscape. And today I'm going to share 10 reasons why educators and teachers such as yourself should really be looking at integrating educational technology into your classrooms. All right, I'm a very big advocate for EdTech. All right, that is why I'm doing what I am doing. And I'm going to share 10 reasons why we really need to start thinking about how we're integrating EdTech into our classrooms. So that's what we're going to really focus on today. Then after the presentation, I am going to just show you and invite you to join the brand new Evolve EdTech Community Facebook group, which is where we're going to start to share a lot more of those ideas that we have here at Evolve EdTech and the wonderful things that you might be doing within your own classrooms and learning communities. And then just to finish off today, I am just going to share with you some ways that you can continue to stay connected with us here at Evolve EdTech after the presentation concludes. So we have a jam-packed workshop today, so I should probably stop whining and whinging and, going on about all kinds of things, and let's get started. All right, so welcome once again to this very special workshop, Smart Classrooms, Navigating the Digital Education Landscape. This was something that I put together as part of a course that I was undertaking with the wonderful Sarah Cordner. Okay, so she runs a program called Concept to Course, and I've participated in that twice now. And one of her goals and one of her challenges for the second round that I participated in was to run a live workshop during April. And here we are, and this is the live workshop that I have decided to present. And a school holiday workshop might be something that we continue with just to provide you with some wonderful learning opportunities that are available in your time or are available afterwards if you would like to access those. So today, with Smart Classrooms, Navigating the Digital Education Landscape, we're going to have a look at how we need to really understand that in this ever-evolving world, and we know that education is changing. I know it's changing. I've seen a number of changes. But with this ever-changing world of education, integrating technology into the classroom is not just a benefit, but it's also a necessity for our young people today. So hopefully at the end of today's presentation, I will have empowered you with some knowledge as well as some different tools that you may be able to access and add to your tech toolkit so that you can start to embed these practices in your teaching and learning programs, and that you can start to really develop those skills that our young people are going to need as they move in to a vastly different world to the world that most of us grew up in ourselves. So that is the aim for today's presentation. Fingers crossed I can do that for you. I'm going to do my absolute best. But thank you so much for joining us and being part of this free workshop. I really, really appreciate it. All right, so I did mention that I just wanted to very quickly elaborate where to find the recording to this workshop as well as the resources, because this is the first time I have actually live streamed into the Evolve EdTech portal, which is part of the Evolve EdTech website and ecosphere. So I just want to go and make sure that everybody knows where to access this so that in future, if there is any other additional workshops, whether they are free or paid, conferences, all kinds of different things, you know how to access those. So I'm going to go and show you how to do that. So today, if you're viewing this live with us, you will have already joined through your Evolve EdTech portal, all right? And you will also be able to find your courses there. So we are going to go and have a look at that now. I'm actually going to go and show you that. You can see there's a little picture here in the slide deck just to help you, but I am going to go and show you how to access this. You will also know if you're looking at the recording or if you're looking at the slides live that you can access them by clicking the click here button. All right, so that's just going to open up the same slide deck that we already have. Okay, so that is there for you as well. All right, so to access our portal, we're just going to go portal. I'm going to spell it correctly. Portal.evolveedtech.com. All right, so portal.evolveedtech.com. This is where you'll go for basically every single thing that we have with Evolve EdTech. If you purchase it for free or you pay for it, this is where you will end up going. All right, it will open up into the communities page. At the moment, all of this that you're seeing is just is my account, so it's my test account. So you're seeing something that may appear a little bit later this year. I'm still working on it, but it may appear. And this is our community section here. So this is where we could essentially have a very similar community to Facebook if we decided to move to that. But I'm not sure if I'm going to do that just yet. However, if you would like to access your courses or any resources that you have purchased or you have joined up to from Evolve EdTech, there's a couple of ways. You can click the home button here and it will take you back to your essentially your home page of our portal, okay, which is fantastic. And you can see here that you'll be able to access just here, I think it is take course, our courses library. So everything that you have registered for, everything that you have purchased, you will be able to find just here. Another way to access the course library is to head up here to the 9 dots, the waffle, and then just click on courses. All right. So this is going to show you everything that is part of your portal, whether it's paid or whether it's free. And this is where you'll be able to access it. And then if you're looking for today's presentation, you're just going to look for the Smart Classrooms tile here. Just click onto that one. And in a moment, we may see ourselves, which is fantastic. And here, this is where you'll be able to access today's presentation and recording. So you'll just click in here to access it. All right, the blurbs there, that is the YouTube link. This is an unlisted YouTube link. All right, so it is not available freely on YouTube for everybody to access. The only way that they can access it at the moment is through this recording. However, after this recording, it may just go straight into the portal. So don't share the YouTube link, please, because it may not be accessible. The only way to access this will be through the Evolve EdTech portal. And then if you scroll down here, you will be again able to access those slides if you'd like to look at those a little bit later. So that is how you will be able to access the Evolve EdTech portal if you need to in the future. I'm just going to reload this page so that it goes into full screen mode so that it looks very beautiful from your end. So the Evolve EdTech portal, it's free to sign up to, and it is where you will find everything that you purchase or access from the Evolve EdTech team. All right, because we've done that, we go through those. Anyway, that's enough about that. Let's talk about me, because it's about me at the moment. No, it's about us. Anyway, if we haven't met before, my name is Tristan Heron. It is lovely to have you here. If we have met before, thank you for coming back. I appreciate it, and I really, really do love every single one of you. Anyway, I am the founder and CEO of Evolve EdTech, so I am the person here. It is actually a one-person business. It's just me. I'm doing all of it in my own time. It's very hectic, but I love what I do, and I do what I do to support you. I did not mean to, use a little bit of poetry there, but essentially everything that I do is to support every other educator in Australia, in New Zealand, in Asia, everywhere in the world. Anybody who accesses this, thank you so much. So I actually, believe it or not, started my business under another name, which was called the EdTech Teacher. And I actually started the business and I started this particular journey in January 2020. Little did I know that in a few months' time, the world would change in 2020 and my job and my role would be absolutely changed forever. And the importance of technology and educational technology would really be catapulted to the front of every single teacher, everywhere worldwide. So we actually started in 2020. I took some inspiration from some of my favorite ed techers, including Casey Bell, Matt Miller, okay, a whole heap of people who I was really inspired to. And I thought I'd like to be like them. So that's where my passion and that's where the business started. And it started as the EdTech Teacher. So if you are looking at our YouTube channel later on and you're looking at some of our really old resources, that's why you'll see references to the EdTech Teacher, because that's what we started as in 2020. Then in the middle of 2021, I decided that the EdTech Teacher wasn't really the brand that was that I was trying to get across, I suppose. And we rebranded and transformed into Evolve EdTech, and that's where we've been ever since. We've had a few design changes, but we've finally settled on something that we really enjoy and we really like. And I think it's a great image for our brand. So we've been going since about 2020. Okay, we are revolving. It's a slow journey, but we thank you so much for being here with us. In addition to also running Evolve EdTech, I am a fully qualified K to 12 teacher. So that means I can actually teach from kindergarten, which is the beginning of primary school, all the way up to year 12, which is the end of high school here in Australia. And I have majors in English and history. So I am an English and history teacher here in Australia. So I have taught at some stage throughout my career every single year group from kindergarten to year 12. I obtained my teaching degree at Charles Sturt University, which is a lovely regional university, and I have been teaching since 2011. I have taught in primary schools and high schools, but I've been a predominantly high school teacher. And I have a huge interest in educational technology and finding new and innovative ways to incorporate EdTech into the classroom. And that was really catapulted and pinnacle as part of my first high school teaching placement in 2012. I was going to say 2020 then, but no, 2012, when I really started to grasp and I was introduced to Moodle, and that is where my love of EdTech started. So that is why I have a passion, and that is why I'd like to share this with you to help you realize that EdTech is a valuable tool that we can be using with our students in our classroom. So if we haven't met before, it's lovely to have you here. If you are coming back, thank you so much for joining me again. I really appreciate it. All right, so let's get into today. Okay, this is what it's about. I have spent 15 minutes already rambling on. Today, we're looking at smart classrooms, navigating the digital education landscape. Now, this presentation today kind of was created by something that I had a conversation with some of my colleagues regarding something happening at my school, which is involving the creation or the implementation of a bring your own device or lease to own kind of laptop policy at my school, and how some of my colleagues will approach this particular aspect of using technology in the classroom. And I have a blog article on my blog that you can go and read, which kind of outlines my feelings and thoughts around that. But that's where this presentation today kind of started to come from, and it started to, trigger my thinking. And how can I show people who might not be quite as accepting when it comes to edtech, like myself and maybe you, how we can really embed edtech into our classrooms. So today, throughout this presentation, we are going to share and explain 10 reasons why it's really important that we actually actively utilize educational technology in our classrooms, okay? Because we want to develop those technological skills of our young people, because they're going to move into a very highly tech-heavy future. So we are going to, throughout this presentation, provide you with those 10 reasons, and we're going to provide you with some examples and practical tools that you could potentially add to your teacher toolkit so that you can start to see how we can embed educational technology into what we already do in the classroom. So that is our aim, that is our goal, that is our hope for today's presentation. All right, let's head over, okay, to our very first reason. Number one, educational technology enhances engagement. Yes, it does. All right. So, the first reason why it is really important that educators are actively incorporating and embedding EdTech into their classroom is to enhance our student engagement. All right. We always have classes that are, not engaged in a particular topic or subject or learning area. But as teachers, it is really up to us to engage them. So if we look at how we can transform our classrooms into an engaging, exciting learning environment by incorporating interactive tools, all right, we're actually going to start to make our lives easier, and our students are really going to enjoy being part of the learning journey. So we can do this by incorporating things like digital games, simulations, all right? But the real essence of this particular example is that we're capturing students' interests. We're fostering that love of learning, but we're also teaching them those vital skills that they will need for that very tech-heavy future that they may experience with whatever they choose to do once they leave school. So the first reason is that educational technology can enhance student engagement. All right, so here's a couple of examples. So for example, by incorporating and using educational technology, we can use and we can have interactive content. We can use a range of digital tools. We can use simulations, educational games. We can have actual interactive presentations now. We don't have to have a static presentation like I'm delivering to you today. We can actually have presentations where students are engaged as you go through your slides. Yes, it is true. I have done it before. Okay. So we can actually use EdTech in ways that move beyond that traditional method of presentation and learning and start to deliver those to our students in ways that are going to capture them and engage them. Another example is that by using technology and educational technology in particular, we can really start to personalize educational learning experiences. So we don't just have to have that one size fits all approach that we might have because we have 30 different student abilities in our class. We could actually start to create activities, okay, that allow our students to progress at their own pace, take individualized learning pathways, but also doing that in a way that doesn't create another layer of work for us. Because I know as educators, I know myself, I am absolutely pumped, okay? I have so much to do, and I feel like it's a never ending journey of work and admin, and that, you can't get anywhere, but you can actually do amazing things when it comes to personalized and individualized learning with EdTech that's not going to create a whole suite of additional work for you. All right, so let's go and have a look at a couple of examples of EdTech tools that you may have used or you may not have heard of before that you could actually use to enhance student engagement. Kahoot. We have probably at some stage throughout our teaching careers used Kahoot. It's a fantastic tool. Interactive quizzes and games. It has changed and evolved significantly. Okay, but it is something that the kids still really love. So Kahoot is one of those. Nearpod, another fantastic example, and it is something that I have used. So I can tell you that this is fantastic. So you can have those interactive presentations that you have with your students. You can keep those Google Slides, you can keep those ideas going, but you can actually have students engage with the learning as you're presenting this on their devices. How cool is that? Okay, Tinkercad, if you are working in something like technology, okay, if you're building or designing something, Tinkercad is fantastic, all right? Creating those simulations, creating those 3D designs, starting to and visualize all of those ideas that students have up here, but actually being able to use technology such as Tinkercad to be able to do that and achieve that. And the last example here is Duolingo, okay? Gamified language learning. Believe it or not, gamification is a really, really important part of learning, okay? So maybe you use Duolingo to be able to help your students learn an additional language, but do that through games, okay? Do that through a method that enhances that engagement by using educational technology. So there we have it. Number one, the first reason why we should be incorporating technology into our classrooms is to enhance student engagement within their learning process and journey. All right, number two, EdTech can help us facilitate our individual learning. So we briefly touched on that in the previous point, all right? But number two, individualized learning and facilitating individualized learning can be achieved through educational technology. So we can help our students learn at their own pace, we can help them meet their objectives, we can get them to use tools that they're going to feel comfortable using by individualizing that learning through EdTech. Okay, so how can we do this? So if you go out there, all right, and I know that the world of EdTech is huge at the moment, and I know that it can be overwhelming, but there are a absolutely large range of learning technologies and platforms out there, okay? And these can actually adjust to students' learning levels and paces, ensuring no one's left behind, all right? So there's lots of tools out there, and I'm going to share some tools with you in a moment so that you might go and investigate those yourself. You can also access, and I love this idea, a diverse range of resources. All right. So you can go and access resources such as videos. You're watching a video right now. Okay. It's probably going to be a little bit longer than I'd like to present to students, but you have a video. You can pause it. You can come back to it. You can go. You can speed me up. You can do anything you like. All right. Videos, ebooks. Okay. I am a big ebook fan because I find that books are lovely, but they take up a lot of space. They're heavy. They're very difficult to move. I love my Kindle. I love having things there. I love having accessibility across devices. So being able to use ebooks is another really great way. We could also use an ebook to be able to hear what is being presented, okay, from the content in the ebook, okay, using some of those adaptive learning resources, okay, some of those read aloud type apps that are available now for our students, and interactive lessons, okay, getting our students engaged in the lessons, okay. We no longer just have to watch videos. We can actually attempt questions whilst we are engaged with a video. So we don't have to be, completing those after the video. We can now use a whole range of tools. So let's go and have a look at some tools. All right, the first one, Khan Academy, okay? Khan Academy offers personalized learning pathways in a number of different subjects and topics. So if you're looking for something to provide your students, Khan Academy may be where you go and what you access in order to be able to demonstrate and create that individualized learning pathway. Dreambox Learning, okay, has adaptive maths curriculum activities, all right? So you can integrate and incorporate those mathematical skills, okay, and it is adaptive. And I've just popped in Google Classroom here because something that is wonderful about Google Classroom is that you can actually assign differentiated learning activities and resources to different students. So it doesn't mean that every student gets the same worksheet. You could actually provide your students with different worksheets and may have no idea, unless they're looking at other people's computers and devices, that they have something different. So really simple ways to individualize and facilitate learning, all right? So don't think that you can't do this, and don't think that it's going to add another layer of admin or work to your role. It can be done, and it can be done in a really simple and achievable way. All right, number three. Okay, the third way that we can access and harness the power of EdTech in the classroom is to improve our collaboration. So improve the collaboration between ourselves, improve the collaboration between our students. Okay, we can now start working on projects together in real time. Okay, it doesn't matter if we're in different classrooms, if we're in different places, we can now work on those projects together at the same time. We can broaden those cooperative skills, which is obviously something that, I have seen a change in the world over the past few years as a result of COVID when it comes to those cooperative and team building skills. And we can also look at those global perspectives. Okay, we can start to look at how we can look at achieving a global goal or a global perspective through our collaboration. All right. So, for example, we could use collaborative platforms and tools such as Google Classroom or Microsoft Teams so that our students can work together seamlessly regardless of their physical location. And again, not just our students, our teachers, our colleagues. All right. I am part of a statewide staff room on Microsoft Teams for my particular department that I work for. So we have access to other people and resources through these collaborative platforms like Google Classroom and Microsoft Teams. So utilize those. If you have access to those, utilize them. All right. They're there for you. They're there to benefit the students. They're there to assist us to improve collaboration. We can also really generate and harness those global connections, okay, and the technology, okay, that enables the classroom to connect with peers throughout the world. So we're no longer just stuck in our single classroom in our country. We can now collaborate and connect with people throughout the world, okay? We can do that through projects, all right? We can have meetings like this, we can have live streams, we can have presentations, we can have all kinds of different things happening so that we are working on a project from different parts of the world in different time zones essentially as well. So this enhances cultural understanding and collaboration between yourself, your students, as well as school systems and educators. Okay, a whole range of benefits there for you. All right, so some ways that you could use these in your teacher toolkit, and I have forgotten to link onto this slide, so I apologize for that. Okay, Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams, we've already spoken about them. They're fantastic. I have used both, all right, so they are tools that you can use. You decide which one that might work for you. If you're in a Google system or a Microsoft system, you might be limited to that, but you will manage that and you will decide what is best for you. Padlet, another one of my favorite tools. Okay, it is a wonderful tool. Okay, where you can have collaborative boards for ideas and projects. It might be a future video or a future innovative EdTech episode for us here at Evolve EdTech. But Padlet is another wonderful way to improve that collaboration in a very simple, seamless manner. Okay, so another three wonderful ways that you can improve collaboration by incorporating educational technology into your classroom learning environment. Okay, let's head on to number four, and that is to prepare our students for the future. All right, we've mentioned this a couple of times today already, but educational technology is really important in helping prepare our students for their future. So we need to ensure that we are equipping them with those crucial digital literacy skills. All right. They're going to have to use technology that is going to be far superior to what we may have used, okay, when we were going to school. All right. So our students need to develop those skills. They need to have access to hands on technology in the classroom. All right. We need to prepare them. We cannot fail them by continuing to maintain our pen and paper methods of teaching and learning. Okay. We need to ensure that we have provided them with those hands on, crucial digital literacy opportunities to develop those skills to be successful in their futures. All right. So we need to make sure that we do not fail them today. All right. So, for example, if we are looking at some simple ways to prepare our students for the future, developing those digital literacy skills, okay, providing them with an understanding of how to use technology ethically, safely, how to make sure that we are recognizing, how to make sure that we are not just copying somebody else's work and pasting it and claiming it as our own, providing them with all of those different skills that they are going to need to be able to competently and confidently use educational technology in the future is paramount, is paramount to ensuring that they are ready for whatever career that they decide to undertake in the future. Another way is innovation and creativity. So we can encourage and use a whole suite of digital tools for creating projects that foster innovation and creativity. Okay. And these skills are skills that are going to be really highly valued in a future workforce. All right. I'm using a wonderful tool right now. I'm using Canva to present this to you today. All right. Canva is a wonderful tool that you can use to foster that innovation as well as creativity in a method that is accessible for our students. It is preparing them for their future. And it's something that I really, really want to emphasize. EdTech is not about you. It's not about, what you have done in the past. It's about preparing our students for their future. All right, so a couple of ideas here as to how we could prepare our students for the future that we might decide to look at. Okay, Scratch. All right, if you have explored Scratch before, it's been around for a little while now. It is a fantastic tool to develop that digital literacy through coding. Okay, a very significant element of our future now, and as we are starting to progress into a completely different technological revolution, I suppose you could say, coding is now even bigger and more important in our world. So you can look at Scratch. The kids love Scratch, and I have found that they often start to use that in primary school. So as you move into high school, it's not something that you're going to have to go and teach again and introduce. I can guarantee that most of your students probably will have an understanding of Scratch. Okay, the Adobe Creative Cloud, okay, is another fantastic tool that you can access for creativity and design. Just go and Google that. Go and have a look at all of the wonderful aspects of that particular Creative Cloud that you can access and you can use. There's so many things there. And the last one that I have here is looking at Lego Mindstorms or looking at some of those robotics and engineering resources from Lego that you can use. I remember a few years ago, I had a year 8 IST class, so a computer studies class, and we had a unit on Lego Mindstorms and we used the programming, and it was absolutely fascinating. So you've got a whole range of different coding tools, and you've got a whole heap of different robotics elements that you can purchase and you can get your students to use today. Another way to prepare them for the future. All right. So AI is starting to become a big part of our world right now. So using tools like Lego Mindstorms or using any of those other tools that will help prepare our students for the future is what is going to be a benefit to them. All right, number 5, access up-to-date information. All right, this is a huge element of why we should be using educational technology, and that is so that we can access up-to-date information. So by ensuring that our teaching materials are current, okay, with access to the latest information and research, we can ensure that we are able to make learning more relevant and immediate for our students. So I can tell you that I often teach something and a student says, oh, is that person still alive? Or how did that person die? Or, what's this particular idea? And I can go, do you know what? Let's jump onto Google and let's have a look now. So, educational technology means that if we have a question or we have a question that we don't know what the answer to that particular question is, we can find the response straight away. Up to date information that we can then use and we can add to our lesson to enhance that engagement. Isn't that funny? All right. So, some different ways that we could do this. All right. Obviously, we can access real time data. All right. So, we can access the latest research and data to ensure that our learning is always up to date. So, we might be looking at some statistics. We might be looking at something scientific. We might be looking at climates. Okay. We might be looking at finance. All right. We might be looking at history. I can tell you there's some wonderful history pages out there that now have 3D tours of historical sites. So we can actually access all of this up-to-date information through educational technology. Who would have thought? The second one here, ebooks and online libraries, amazing things. So we can now, instead of having to purchase a ridiculous amount of physical copies of books that may sit on shelves for years and years and years, we can use ebooks, we can use online libraries, okay? And these are continuously updated, all right? So, we probably have textbooks in our classrooms or workbooks that are, 10, 20 years old. They become outdated so quickly. The world moves so quickly. But by utilizing that up-to-date information, by accessing ebooks or online libraries, we can keep those resources relevant for our students. All right. So just another very simple reason why we really should be looking at incorporating EdTech into our classrooms. Okay, so some examples of how we can access up-to-date information. All right, Google Scholar. If you haven't gone and accessed Google Scholar before, you are missing out. You have access to the latest research papers through Google Scholar. It's an amazing resource that you can access. Okay, Overdrive, another digital book and resource hub, okay, from a whole range of libraries. Just check that one to see if you can access that, because you may not have access to that one, because that is a specific resource to use if you have specific access from a specific institution. And Joestar, which most of us, if we've been to university or college, we've probably accessed this. It's an online database of academic journals. So that one there might be for educators. It might be for students in those kind of higher years, those upper years, those more advanced students, so that they can access a whole range of academic journals that they might be able to use in their research or their study. So accessing up-to-date information is so simple, it's easy, and it's effective simply by incorporating educational technology into our classrooms. All right, so that is our first 5. And I'm going to take a quick sip here because I am definitely parched from speaking about those first 5 reasons, which were 5 fantastic reasons already. So let's very quickly recap those first 5 reasons why we should really be looking at incorporating educational technology into our classrooms. 1, to enhance student engagement. Number 2, to facilitate individualized learning for our students. Number 3, to improve students' collaboration skills. Number 4, to help prepare our students for their futures. And number 5, accessing up-to-date and relevant information. So there we already have 5 very good reasons why we should be looking at using and incorporating educational technology into our classrooms. Okay, so they're the first 5. All right, we're going to venture into the second half right now. There's no breaks, there's no stops. Obviously, you can pause me anytime you like, and I will not be offended that you've stopped me from speaking. But let's head into number 6. All right, so number 6, we've already talked about similar themes when it comes to this, but we can support differentiated learning and instruction throughout the use of EdTech. So we can cater and we can tailor our learning for all of those different abilities and interests and skills that our students bring to our classrooms. Okay, we can ensure that they can achieve their full potential, but differentiating the instructions, okay, so that our students get the most out of their learning. So, for example, we are able to access adaptable resources and technology, right? We've talked about that, okay? So we can access tools that will provide feedback, it will prevent students from moving forward until they've mastered skills. We can do that through a whole range of different tools that are available out there in the marketplace at the moment. But another way is that we can also provide our students with immediate feedback. Okay. They can access feedback tools, apps. They can look at platforms that tailor the instructions that we provide our students to meet their needs and abilities. Okay, so we no longer have to be the person that is doing all of that hard work and thinking. We can actually now go out and use things like artificial intelligence to actually start to break down our activity and differentiate it into, you know, 3 or 4 different ways to deliver it to our students. So it's saving us time. All right, it's making our lives as teachers much easier, but it's also ensuring that we are catering and supporting that differentiated instruction for our students. All right, some different ways that we could do this. Book widgets. If you have not explored book widgets before, you are missing out. It is something I have used in the past, and it may be something that I utilize again later this year. Okay, book widgets are customizable widgets for diverse instructional needs. So you can use them within the book widgets ecosphere, but they also work very nicely with other platforms such as Google Classroom. So book widgets, a fantastic way to differentiate the instruction for your students. I've seen fantastic examples of this. At one of my previous schools, I was talking to a teacher, a PE teacher, who utilized book widgets, and she was able to create different activities at different levels and deliver those to students through Google Classroom. All right, Socrates here. Okay, real time assessment tools for immediate feedback. Okay, we know that feedback and timely feedback is really important for our students. When they use that feedback, hopefully your students utilize your feedback and don't just do what my students do and look at the grade number. Okay, but that real time immediate feedback, okay, is something that will help your students benefit and identify what they need to do moving forward. And the last one is Edpuzzle. Okay, video lessons with embedded assessment and tracking. Okay, it's fantastic. All right, it might be something that I look at in the future as well. It is something that I have looked at in the past. Okay, but being able to use Edpuzzle to get your students to check their understanding, to assess their knowledge as they are watching a video, another fantastic way to support that differentiated instruction. All right, so another 3 tools that you could add to your teacher tech toolkit to support differentiated instruction within the classroom. All right, number 7, looking at learning beyond the classroom. Okay, so having a look at how we can make connections to our learning beyond the 4 walls or the no walls if your classroom is an open classroom, okay, beyond the immediate learning space that our students are working in. So having a look at how we can break down those walls of our classroom by incorporating virtual field trips and excursions, looking at online resources so that our students can develop a knowledge that exists beyond just that traditional learning of school. Okay, so let's have a look at some examples. Okay, so some examples of how we can extend beyond just the classroom. So we might ask our students to explore the world and gain exposure to different cultures and environments without leaving the actual classroom. We'll take them on virtual excursions and field trips. Google Maps, Google Earth, okay? Google Arts and Culture, all right? There are a whole range of different resources and tools out there that you can use to take your students on a virtual excursion or a virtual field trip. All right. So we can move beyond just the traditional learning. Sometimes we might not be able to go over to Pompeii or Egypt. We might not be able to go over to Greece. We might not be able to go somewhere in Asia. Have a look at what we can do through a virtual excursion, through a virtual field trip to really extend learning beyond just being in that physical classroom. We can also extend learning opportunities for struggling online by suggesting online courses and resources that meet those learning needs of our students. So maybe we have a student that's really interested in a particular topic. Maybe they'd like to learn some more about that. We could maybe suggest some online courses or resources that they could start to look at, setting them up for a wonderful future, looking at learning beyond just the school environment, looking at learning in a higher kind of academic element or environment. We can start to develop those lifelong skills and habits for learning straight away. All right, so some different ways that we could take our learning and then extend it beyond the classroom. Okay, the first one here, Google Earth. I've mentioned this one here. We can take field trips all over the globe from our very specific location in our school. We can go all over the place. Okay, we can start to explore the world, and all we need is a computer, all we need is a screen, an internet connection, and we can go and explore anywhere in the world. The second one here, National Geographic Kids. Okay, this one's a fantastic resource that provides interactive activities about wildlife and geography. Okay, so helping our students to explore those natural elements of our world. So natural elements through National Geographic Kids. And the third suggestion here is mystery science. So we've got engaging science lessons and experiments, okay, so that we can, take what we've learned in our science classes and then maybe go and start to implement some of those skills using a science experiment that we may not have thought of ourselves that might be relevant to something for the real world. So moving learning beyond the classroom is a really important aspect of ensuring that we're meeting in the needs of our young people, but also it's another way that we can utilize educational technology. All right, we are getting so close to the end. Reason number 8, increasing productivity and efficiency. That's right. A really big kind of, key phrase that you'll hear in the world all the time is we need to increase productivity. We need to be more efficient. Well, we can actually do that. All right. We can start to become more efficient and effective educators, okay, through the use of educational technology. So you can see here that not all of these ideas that we are presenting to you today are all student based. All right. So we can enhance our teacher effectiveness by utilizing automatic grading. Okay. We can streamline our lesson planning. We can access tools that allow us to spend more time with our students rather than spending all of our time doing that admin, doing that planning. That is already a significant aspect of our workload as a teacher. So we could do that by utilizing tools that offer automatic grading of quizzes and tests. Okay, so if you could use something like a Google form, okay, if you can use quizzes, if you can use all kinds of different tools that allow for them to grade your assessments and tests and quizzes, it's going to save you a mountain of time. All right, you can also set up and have feedback to automatically provide students with what they've done well or what they need to improve. So there's a whole range of ways that we can actually take that step away from us by utilizing EdTech. You can also access a wealth of online lesson plans and curriculum ideas. Okay, there are so many out there. Right here, us at Evolve EdTech, we have 75 plus digital templates that you can actually access. Okay, so you can download those and you can use those, and your students can add text boxes. Maybe if they've got a stylus, they can write on them. But we have them there for you to use. So there are lesson plans, there are curriculum ideas, there are resources that are available to help you save your time, become more efficient and productive when it comes to preparing your lessons for your students. All right, some examples of how you could do this. GradeCam, if you haven't explored that one, that's not something that I am entirely familiar with, but it has automated test scoring. So it might be something that you go and explore yourself. Obviously, they've got the good teachers pay teachers there. Okay, it is a wealth of resources, some good, some bad, some fantastic. Okay, they're ready to make, ready to use resources that you can access. Okay, obviously there are free things. Okay, they're limited, and then others are paid, but obviously they are created by educators, all right? So I'm leaving that up to you to decide if you'd like to access those. Have I used them in the past? Yes. Okay, so I am not poo-pooing this at all. All right, it is a resource that I encourage you to decide whether or not you will utilize that. And Planboard, this is one of my favorite tools. It is a fantastic digital daybook, digital teacher diary to help you with your lesson planning and scheduling. All right. I have a whole series on Planboard. It's a few years old now, so there may have been updates to Planboard since that series was created on our YouTube channel. But Planboard is a tool that I have used for a number of years, and I really loved it because I like to minimize my paper use, and Planboard was a fantastic tool to be able to do my planning, keep myself organized, and maintain my sanity. All right, we have just two wonderful ways and reasons why we should be utilizing educational technology in our classroom. So let's get going and head over to reason number 9. And that is that we can improve our communication through the use of educational technology. So there are a whole suite of platforms available out there in the World Wide Web that offer real-time updates, feedback, and engagement that you can keep every single person that's important in our role as a teacher connected and informed. So that's students, that's parents, that's colleagues. There are so many tools out there that we can now use to improve our communication. So, for example, we can start to improve our communication with our students by accessing some of those different platforms that allow us to facilitate communication between teachers and parents. So we know that it's not always practical to be able to call a parent. There may be reasons why you find it challenging to contact a parent via the phone. Maybe you've had a very poor experience, okay, and now you've got a little bit of trauma when it comes to that. So being able to communicate with a student or a parent through a platform that might be text-based or might be email-based is a really important thing to think about, okay? So having a look at some of those different communication platforms that you may have access to will help you improve that communication. And by utilizing technology, we can provide various ways to give our students feedback, okay? So we can encourage a more communicative and inclusive classroom. So if you're using something like Google Classroom, you'll have access to that ability to provide feedback to the students through Google Classroom. So having a look at how we can use technology to provide that feedback is another fantastic way of improving that two-way communication between teacher, student, and or teacher and parent. Okay, some different tools that you could use. Okay, the first one here is Remind. All right, I have tinkered with Remind before, but this might be one that you need to check that you are allowed to use first. Okay, so you can have direct communication with parents and students, and I believe once I was using it, it was text-based, which is something that you might use. So if you're into text messages, that might be something beneficial for you. Seesaw, I see a lot of people using Seesaw, okay? So it is a student-driven digital portfolio, right? And it also provides the ability for feedback and communication between teacher, parent, student, okay? So it's another fantastic tool there. And the last example that I have here that you may like to add to your teacher tech toolkit is Blooms. Okay, it's a parent-teacher communication and collaboration platform that might be suitable for you in your particular context. But as I always say, just make sure that you're allowed to access and use these before you decide to invest or you decide to actually dive in and use these tools. All right, this leads us up to our very last reason why we should be incorporating educational technology into our classrooms, and that is because of the cost effectiveness. All right, now I hear you making some judgments as to this particular one already. I'm going to explain my thinking in a moment. So you can reduce your costs without sacrificing quality by utilizing digital textbooks, online resources, which are often less expensive and more versatile than those traditional methods and materials. of those big clunky textbooks that we spend $50 or $60 each on. We buy 30 of them and we've broken our budget. Okay, we've smashed it. We've lost it all. Here is my thinking as to why educational technology is cost effective. And it's really important that we should be thinking about our edtech, okay, when we are implementing it in the classroom. All right, so we know that we can access digital textbooks and resources, okay, they are often cheaper. I say often because they're not always, all right? But the only good thing is that it's easier to update and replace those long term, okay? So there's a couple of things here. We may have a subscription to a textbook, okay, that we may have for 12 months. It may be 2 years, 3 years, whatever, okay? It is easier to update those, all right, than having to haul out and throw out and, trash a whole heap of out-of-date textbooks. They can also be updated much easier. So if there's some incorrect information, they can be updated, all right? So that is the first reason why educational technology is much more cost-effective. Our resources that we can use can often be updated much easier, much quicker, much more time effectively, so that we can use those. However, many educational technologies, okay, also offer scalable solutions. All right, so these can be more effective than traditional methods, especially for larger classes or schools. So what this particular idea here means is that if you go and access a tool or a website or a resource, it doesn't mean that you are going to have to be paying the full amount straight up. So maybe say you have 100 students. You might pay for those 100 students, but then you have another 100 students who want to also access that resource. A lot of those technology companies will have scalable solutions. So they'll start to be able to provide you with more. But obviously, when you add on more, you do add on more costs. But normally those costs are reduced because the number and the price per student reduces. So they have the ability to be able to help you access that particular tool with more students in a way that is cost effective. All right, the other reason why I want to really emphasize cost effectiveness as a fantastic reason is yes, okay, technology does cost money. All right, but if you look at the initial input, okay, that you are going to have to invest into educational technology, all right, let's say a laptop lasts 5 years. Okay, if we had paid $500 for a laptop for 5 years, okay, that's $100 a year. Okay, it is going to be far cheaper for us to continue to invest in new technology, okay, on a rotational basis than if we were going to continue to buy new textbooks each year or top up textbooks that have been damaged or destroyed or lost each year. I think you would find that even though the initial cost for investing in technology might be, a little bit eye-watering, okay, but in the long run, I think you will see the benefit of that initial investment will actually outweigh the cost of all of those other elements and tools that you might be accessing and utilizing and purchasing for your students to use. So don't think that when I say that EdTech is cost effective, that it's going to mean it's going to be really cheap to start with. All right. It might involve an initial investment. All right. But in the long run, I think you'll find that it is a cost effective solution and a way that we can really support our students in a way that is going to be beneficial for them and their future. All right. So, cost effectiveness, another fantastic reason why educational technology is something that we should be looking at in our classrooms. All right, some examples of cost effectiveness. Okay, I've talked about this one. I'm using this one right now, Canva for Education. They are wonderful supporters of education, and you can access Canva for Education for absolutely free as a teacher. Okay, Canva, if you haven't used it, it is a design tool suite. I use it myself here at Evolve EdTech. I use it myself for my role at my school. It's fantastic. Go and check it out. You will absolutely love it. Okay, the next one here is Starfall, all right? And this provides free and low-cost educational games and activities for younger students, okay? Particularly when it comes to reading, phonics, and mathematical skills. All right. So we like that idea of free or low cost. Okay. So we have those options available through Starfall. And the last one here, again, is Quizlet. All right. It offers free and low cost options for creating digital flashcards and learning games for your students. And I'm going to be trying a set of Quizlet cards, or flashcards that I created many years ago. I'm going to come back and reuse that with my Year 10 class in a couple of weeks' time, and I'm going to see how that goes. So I will let you know how that went. But another fantastic way, all right? So a lot of these tools that we have out there have the ability to use them for free, okay? A lot of them, they have that scalable option to move into a paid plan. I don't say go out there and buy everything. And I've talked about this many times before. If you're going to invest in an edtech tool, make sure it's right first. Okay. Don't make a big financial commitment and don't buy everything. All right. Definitely don't buy everything. So have a look what's out there in the marketplace, determine if it's right for you and your students before you make a financial investment and contribution to that resource. So yes, educational technology can be cost effective, but you just also need to make sure that if you invest in something, it is the right tool for your particular needs. Well, there we go. That brings us to the end of our 10 reasons why, it's really important that educators are actively utilizing educational technology in their classrooms. So just to recap, because we have been here for quite a while, okay, these are our 10 reasons. We can enhance student engagement. We can facilitate individual learning. We can improve collaboration. We can prepare our students for the future. We can also access up-to-date information and resources. We can support differentiated instruction. We can take learning beyond the physical classroom. We can increase teacher productivity and efficiency, improve communication between teacher, parent, and student, and also realize that EdTech can be a cost-effective solution in our very highly, um, regimented education systems in some ways, I suppose, when it comes to finances and budgeting. All right, so they are our 10 reasons. Our 10 reasons why we think it's really important that educators start to really focus on using educational technology in their classrooms. I love it. I'm a big believer in it. I'm going to continue to invest in it. That's why I'm here with Evolve EdTech. All right, I'm here to support you on your journey with educational technology. So feel free to send me an email, connect with me on our socials. I'll talk about those a little bit later, but we would love to connect with you to help you with your journey. All right. Well, that is the end of our 10 reasons why it is important for educators to use and incorporate educational technology into their classrooms. Thank you so much for sticking with us throughout the presentation today. I hope that you've picked up something that's really valuable. And don't forget that for most of those resources listed in the presentation today, they do actually have clickable links that will take you straight to that resource. All right. A couple more things. As I mentioned earlier in the presentation today, we have just launched a brand new Facebook group called the Evolve EdTech Community Facebook group. This is something that I am starting to tinker with a little bit, and I'm hoping to grow, but we would love for you to join our Facebook group. And we would love it after this workshop today if you jumped on and you shared with us your biggest concern, challenge, or any questions that you have when it comes to incorporating educational technology into the classroom. What do you think? What are you feeling? What's a question? What's a concern? And we'll see what we can do to help you with those. So if you head over to Facebook, you search for the Evolve with EdTech community, okay, you'll be able to access those. All right, there are a couple of questions to get you started, just to make sure that we have educators joining that community and not spammers. So just tell them in one of those questions, if you have to, that you heard about the Evolve EdTech community from the Smart Classrooms workshop. So we'd love to see you over there in our brand new Facebook community. All right, so we're almost at the end today. If you'd like to stay connected with us here at Evolve EdTech, we'd love for that. All right, you can join us. You can head over to our website, evolveedtech.com. Okay, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, TikTok, we are on X, and we would love it if you jumped over onto YouTube and you subscribe to the Evolve EdTech YouTube channel, because by subscribing to our channel, you continue to motivate us to create content for you, to support you in the classroom. So we would love to stay connected with you after today's workshop. So please feel free to connect with us on our social network platforms, as well as our YouTube channel. All right, that brings us to the end of this workshop. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you picked up something really valuable and useful when it comes to exploring this idea of educational technology and how we can navigate that digital education landscape. That is something that is going to be really pinnacle as we move forward in our teaching, in our programs and our processes as educators. So thank you so much for joining us today. If you are watching the recording, thank you so much for joining us. If you've joined us live, thank you so much again. I love and appreciate every single one of you. Stay tuned. There will be much more coming from Evolve EdTech in the future, and we hope that you can join us for that then. Anyway, that brings us to the end of today's workshop. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Tristan. I am the creator and the person behind the screen here at Evolve EdTech. Thank you so much. Stay safe, and we will catch you again next time. All right, see you later.